Hi, good morning all. So we're on the topic of functions, user-defined functions. So some of the examples already seen. So one more example, we'll see this. Create or replace procedure P1. We'll create the procedure and we call this procedure in the function. So create or replace procedure P1, P underscore employee number, in number, and LV underscore salary, number begin. Select salary into LV underscore salary from EMP where employee number is equals to P underscore employee number. DBMS output LV underscore salary we are printing here within this procedure. So how will you use this procedure? So simply you can execute this one. To call the procedure, you can have the execute P1 of, we'll say 7839 or any number, so that it will give you the output of 5000 salary. Same, I want to call this function procedure in the function. Then we are creating the simple function create or replace function F1 LV underscore employee number type return number type is begin procedure of P1 of LV underscore employee number. Okay. So P1 of LV underscore employee number means whatever the number we are employee number we are passing to this function, it will pass to this procedure and return 1 it is there. So return 1 means whenever you execute this function, you will get always return 1 only. So how will you call this function? Using the select statement. Select F1 of 7839 from 2F. So every time it is returning only one whenever whatever the number you will give 7566. It is giving only return one value. We are mentioning the value here so that value only returning. So but I don't want to return this one, but I want this statement also. In the procedure I have mentioned this DBM statement. Then I have to use in the anonymous block. So within the anonymous block, you can get the all the information here. Declare LV underscore salary number begin LV underscore salary assignment operator F1 of 7839. DBMS output dot put underscore line of LV underscore salary. So now it is I'm getting the 5000 and also one also here. I clear this one. I'll use this again. Okay. So salary is 5000 for this employee 7839 and output, whereas the output we are storing in the F1 of function output is this one, but procedure output is this the salary. So if you see this the procedure output is we have to get this salary LV underscore salary. That output and also function output both we are getting when you are using the anonymous block. But when you use the select statement, then you will get only one every time. Why? Because here in this function we return only one at a time. That means only one value we are returning. Okay. So using the functions you can call the procedure in the function. Same way you can call the function in the procedure also. So till now we have seen the in parameter. So function we are having the in parameter. Now you can see this out parameter also. Function with out parameter. Create or replace function F1, A in number, B in number, C out number I'm mentioning. Return number is begin C assignment operator A plus B. Return A minus B and so this is the function with the in parameter and out parameter. So how can we execute this one? Can we use this in the select statement? So no, we cannot use this function in the select statement. Why? Because there is a out parameter is there. Wherever the out parameter for the procedure or the function, so you have to use the anonymous block only. So you have to remember that one. Whenever there is a out parameter, you must use the anonymous block only to execute that. Declare A number 45, B number 10, C number, D number. Begin de-assignment operator function of ABC. So that means we are sending the values here to function. Function required two input parameters and one out parameter. So that here I am sending the AB values as the input parameters and C as the I am going to get the out value here in this C. And function output, total output I am getting into D value here. Okay. DBMS output at put line of out parameter value is the C. So if we see here, this is the out parameter C we are taking. So what are the value here in this C? That is A plus B will be there. And function return value, that is A minus B. Okay, we have to be careful here. So AB is the in parameters and C is the out parameter here in this function. So here in the execution section, we are taking the C value using this A plus B and function return value A minus B. Both are different here. Okay. So if we say return C, then it will be this value, what are the value here in the C assigning, that value will be returning. But here C value is different, function return value is different here. So that we are sending in the anonymous block, we are using the 4 variables here. 2 for the input parameters and 1 for the out parameter and 1 for the function out value. So in the function out value, we are taking in this variable D assignment operator F1 of ABC, and ABC value 45 and 10 it will pass to the function and it will calculate that A plus B is 45 plus 10, 55 it will be C value, and A minus B 45 minus 10, that is 35 for the function output value, that will be D value. To execute this one, so you can get the out parameter value is 55, function return value is 35. Okay. Can you tell me now? So same, I'm taking the same function here. But in the return, what I'm mentioning A minus B, return C, both two returns I'm mentioning. But what will happen? Here, C value will be, you can get it. But in the function return, it will be only A minus B, not the C value here. So function will execute at the first return statement only. It will execute automatically at the first return statement and it will not go what are the statements after the first return. So declare X number, Y number, W, P I am writing here. Instead of the ABCD, I am taking this time X, Y, W, P. So in the P assignment operator means that is function value returning into P variable F1 of X, Y, W. And the C value it will return in this W. Okay. So function parameter values P and out parameter values W. And I'm getting the 35 and 55. You want you can change this to 60 and this will be 30. Then here is the function parameter value is 30, out parameter value is 90. Okay. So like this you can use the function in the using the out parameters also. Same way you can use it. This is number data type. For the character data type, create or replace function F1, ID, number, Fname, out varchar2, return varchar2. Begin Fname, Rohan, return Kumar I am mentioning. So here what will happen? You have to use the compulsory anonymous block. Within this anonymous block I am mentioning Fname, varchar2 of 100, Sname, varchar2 of 100. Two variables I am taking. Sname assignment operator, F1 of 3, Fname. So I am passing the ID here and comma out parameter value I am fetching into Fname. dvm is output, put underscore line of Fname and Sname. So function return value will be stored in the Sname. That means that is Kumar. Kumar will be stored in the Sname and Fname it will be stored in this Fname variable here. So both I am printing, then it is getting Rohan Kumar. So I have some other examples, but I will leave it to you that out parameter and we'll go with the next topic, that is the in-out parameter will be there. So next we have the in-out parameter. So create a replace function F1 p underscore number in-out number. Return number is L underscore average salary, number type begin. Select average salary into L underscore average salary from EMP where department number is equals to P underscore department number, P underscore number. Select maximum salary into P underscore number. So here if you see P underscore number we are passing as input parameter and also we are getting the output parameter value also into this. So if you see here we are passing the department number here for this query and select maximum salary into P underscore number in this query. Okay. Return LV underscore average salary. So function return value is average salary we are returning, but here the parameter value it will be based on this maximum salary only. So for this we have to use the compulsory anonymous block. So when there is a out parameter is there, we have to use the anonymous block only. So declare P underscore number assignment operator ampersand P underscore average salary number begin P underscore average salary assignment operator function of P underscore number. So here we have to pass the value here. Which value we will pass? This value, this variable value we will pass. So it will be runtime assignment. So based on this department number 10 I am giving. So then I am getting the maximum salary 5,000 and average salary this much. Okay, return average salary that is 2916 and for the maximum salary we are storing into P underscore number. Then it is printing this 5,000 here. Again I will give next time department number 30. So 2850 is the maximum salary and 1566.66 is the average salary. Suppose if I am giving any other department number, what will happen? It is executed, but there is no data. That means the department number does not exist, so that you won't get any output here. Okay. So why? Because here in this query it will pass the department number 70 and with this there is no data. So that when you want to use the exceptions, you can include that exception here also, then you will get that no data found. So we'll create a table, one more, we'll drop the table and create the same table here. How to use this function to insert this. So what I will do, I will create the new table with this name with only structure. So create table DEPT1 as select star from DEPT where 1 is equals to 2. Okay. Now what I will do, I will use this function to for DML operations. So create or replace function F1 return varchar2 is begin insert into DEPT1 values 50 HR India return 0. So what I am going to try here is with the function I am using the DML operation, with the DML operation inserting data into this table. So at present, is there any data in the table? So there is no data at present. Now with this function, we are going to insert this. So function compiled successfully. So how will you call this function? There is no out parameter, so that you can use the select statement. Select F1 from dual. So there is no in parameter also for this function. Only function we are calling select F1 from dual. What will happen? So it is throwing the error. Cannot perform a DML operation inside a query. Okay. So that means you have to use the anonymous block for this to update this one. So here the function doesn't have in parameter and also out parameter, but when we are using the DML operations, we have to use this anonymous block only. So declare a varchar of 20 begin a assignment operator F1 DBMS output A. So in the DBMS output, whatever it will be there. So function return value. So function return value here 0 it is there. When I execute this one, 0 it is printing. Got it? So here for the function there is no input one or output parameters, but still it is not working on the select statement. Why? Because so there is a DML operation going. So that to fetch the value, out value, we have to use this variable. And in this variable, I am fetching the function out value, function return value, and printing that value. So can we use the statements inside the function through Pragma autonomous transaction? So what will happen? So create a replace function F1 return number is Pragma autonomous transaction. Begin insert into or delete from the DEPT1 where department number is equal to 50. I am doing the DML operation here. Commit return 1 and so this is the DML operation I am doing. So previously in this example, I am inserting here in this function using the function. Now with this function, I am deleting the record from the DEPT1 table. So function compiled successfully. So now can we call this same function select F1 from dual? Will it work? It is working. Why? Because we are using the Pragma autonomous transaction here. So we can also use predefined functions in user defined functions like minimum, maximum, count, and also user defined functions in the same table or different table. Okay. So that one will like, before that, one more time I will like, here the Pragma autonomous transaction, why we are using means, so whenever any DML operations on the inside the function, we have to use the Pragma autonomous transaction, so that you will get using the select statement also here. But if you are not using this, what will happen? So it will not allow you to execute this one. Suppose I'm inserting this again, I'll create the record and I'll use this one, and I can check the table here. Now the table contains this one record only. So now I'm going to execute this one again without the Pragma autonomous transaction. Create or replace function I have executed. Now I'm going to use this select F1 from dual. Then it is throwing the error. So whenever there is any DML operations are there inside the function, so you have to use the Pragma autonomous transaction. Then only you could able to use the, you can call the function in the select statement. Otherwise, you have to use the anonymous block only. So now I am comparing this one. So now I am using this select statement. So now it is got executed. So can you check this table? There is no data record got deleted. Okay. So that means using the Pragma autonomous transaction keyword. So you can use the function in the select statement whenever there is in DML operations inside the functions. So within the user defined functions, you can call the existing functions. So that means Oracle functions and the what are the seeded functions are there, that also you can call inside the function. Create or replace function F1. Return number is LV underscore salary number. Begin. Select max salary. Max is the aggregate function. Okay. So into LV underscore salary from EMP. Return LV underscore salary. Was not mentioned. So at the end also you have to provide the semicolon. Then only it will properly execute. Select F1 from dual. So it's returning the maximum salary here. So inside the user defined function, we are calling the seeded functionality or aggregate functions you can call, or you can call any other functions. Suppose if you define any other function, you can call the within this function also. So create or replace function F1. Return number is LV underscore count number. Begin select count star into LV underscore count from EMP. Return LV underscore count. Same way you can use this. Select F1 from dual, that is count is displaying. Okay. So you can have the same example. So suppose if you are having the parameters, one more example for this. So create or replace function F1 P underscore inventory item ID. It is number data type. P arg ID, number P date, date data type. So all are input parameters only here. There is no out here mentioned, so that all are input parameters only. Return number is L last updated date parameter, date data type. Begin select last updated date into L underscore last updated date from MTL systems and MTL system items B is the inventory table. Okay, so items inventory table, that is, and for this alias name we are mentioning the MSIP, where 1 is equals to 1 and MSIP dot inventory item ID is equals to P underscore inventory item ID, and MSIP dot organization ID is equals to P underscore org ID. If last updated date less than P date, then return 1, else return 0, and so that means we are passing the inventory item ID, org ID, date, and comparing this with this last updated date here. Okay, if last updated date is less than P date, then it will return 1, else it will return 0. So select F1 of 45204 sysdate. So 45 is for the inventory item ID, org ID I am sending 204, and for the date, sysdate I am passing here. So all are input parameters so that I can able to call using this select statement, execute using the select statement. Then I'm getting the 1 here. Then how this. So creator replace function F1 P invoice ID number. So I am passing the invoice ID to this function and return number. So L underscore prepay amount. Suppose for the invoice amount, suppose somebody paid the some advance amount, token amount only. So invoice amount is, suppose you say 10,000. So user paid the, client paid the 5,000. Then we have to display the balance amount. Balance amount is again 5,000. So for that calculation, we are taking this one variable prepay amount, number assignment operator 0. Cursor C1 is select sum of NVL of prepay amount remaining comma amount from AP invoice distributions all, where 1 is equals to 1 and invoice ID is equals to P invoice ID, and line type lookup code is equals in item or tax. So this is the cursor value we are taking here. This is the cursor query. So begin open C1, fetch C1 into L underscore prepay amount, close C1, return prepay amount. Okay. So return prepay amount, how much amount it is paid, that will be displayed here. So function compiled, then we can call, suppose invoice ID will give this, select F1 of 22928. Then I'm getting the balance prepayment. Prepay amount is 1960. You can check this table if required within these columns. Then have this. Select the sum of NVL, prepay amount, remaining amount. So this is the, suppose if this value is null, then it will be display the amount column only. Okay. So before that, we can use the how many existing columns are there. You can see this using this one. Okay. These many columns are there from this, but I want only for this invoice ID is equals to 22928. For this invoice ID, we are having these details. We go through here, invoice ID, this one. and amount will be somewhere it will be mentioned here. The amount is 1960. Okay. So is there any prepay amount remaining? Does column exist or not? Okay. So here it didn't find, so means it is difficult to check all the columns exist or not. So simply you can use this column name here. So column name is, in this column amount is null, so that we are using the annual function. Annual function, what will happen? So here the expression 1 is null, then it will consider this expression 2. So this column is null, so that it will consider the amount column. So based on that, I am getting the value 1960. Okay. So like this, you can recheck the table whether the output is correct or not. Okay. Total sum is this, the 2352. Sum of annual function we are using, sum of annual of prepay amount comma amount for this invoice ID. So that means there are two records are there for this invoice ID. That is, one is 1960, it is there. You see this amount, you can have the amount column. 1960, 392. So both together, when you use the sum, so then what is getting? 2352. Okay. So in the functions also, you can use like this, but here you can verify whatever we are doing, whether it is the output is coming correctly or not. You can verify by querying this. What are the values we are passing, that queries you can execute separately and get the value. So to validate the business unit, you can have the one more function that using this, you can validate whether the given data is correct or not. So create a replace function, validate business unit. P business unit, we have to pass here in parameter. One variable we are taking L underscore name, varchar 2 of 240 and null assigning. In the execution sector, select HYU.name into L underscore name from HR operating units and upper of HY name is equals to upper of P business unit. We are verifying here condition. If LNAME is not null, then return Y, else LNAME is return N, and if exception when no data found. So invalid operating unit. Otherwise, exception while validating the operating unit. So same, you can use the exceptions in the functions also. So you can have the validation. We can send the business unit name using this function. Select validate business unit vision operations from dual. Then that is the existing. So suppose if I say vision operations UK, then be saying no, the business unit is not available. USA, that is also not there. Like this, you can verify the data. Okay, this is about the functions. In the functions also, you can use the DML operations, cursors you can use. and existing predefined functions, whatever the seeded functionalities are there, seeded functions are there, that also you can use in the user defined functions. Okay, this is about functions topics. So we'll move on to next topic, packages. Any doubts in this? Functions? Okay. So package is this is also a database object which is used to encapsulate variables, constants, procedures,